Alright, what's going on here? So, I've got a jack plugged into the face of this. No labels on any of the plugs or sockets. That goes down. It's strapped to the reverb tank, but I've got this other cable. Everything just shoved in. Oh, so that doesn't go to the key. There's another plug over here. I need a manual for this thing. Where does that go? That doesn't have enough reach to go to anything there. There's no socket on the back of that. You got two RCAs on there for the reverb tank. That's fine. Let's get the power cord out of the way. Can we? No, it's got a cable clamp. And look at all this. Life doesn't have to be this hard, champions. Alright, so that plugs into there. Okay. So that red goes, take notes for me, champions, I'll need you later on. Red goes in there, white goes in here, and then that goes to the foot switch. Yeah, that's the foot switch. Oh, that's just a random patch cable. That's the foot switch tangled with the power cord. Yeah, alright, so that plugs into this magic brown box. Rev trem. So what does that change? The amount? The mix? I don't know. Because you've got rev there and then you've got rev there. You got trem there and then you got intensity and speed there. So is that another intensity knob? I don't know. So let's get some of this stuff out and have a look. So how have they fixed these? There's no screw tabs. Like sometimes these will have little cast screw tabs hanging off the side and you can screw them to something on the surface, but okay, these have just got a big pan head going through the whole box. So let's undo that. Yeah, it's starting to come loose. Be careful not to let it drop and damage that valve. Alright, cute little box. With a hole that looks like it was drilled by a mouse. Oh, you only get 2 out of 4 screws. You've got to pay extra for the other 2, do you? Let's have a quick look inside. Sorry, I'm having a bit of fun with this. Can't be too serious, champions. We'll bloody go insane. Alright, so it's got a 12AX7 on a really tight Belton socket. There we go. So 12AX7 on the trem. And you've got 2 alpha pots and a big tag strip mounted diagonally. Grizzly. Oh, hang on. This was only built in 22. Wait a minute. Is this 1 year old and it's already fucked? I better check it's got warranty. But, you know, what does warranty mean with Lazy J? You got to send it back to the States. Yeah, I'll let the customer know. I thought it was earlier than that, but not 2022 and it's already failed. So if anyone defends this thing, it's a tweed amp and it lasted 1 year. So you can defend it till the cows come home, mate. But the cows will come home and have a good sleep because this thing won't be working. What am I even talking about? Anyway, let's move on. Alright, put that aside. Put the foot switch away. And we'll look at the reverb. Now, the reverb, again, has no tabs. Is my arm's looking particularly white today. Let me cool down the old exposure a bit. I'm not really that white, believe it or not. So we've got looks like a pan head, but it's also being used as the transformer screw. So I use my stubby screwdriver, which doesn't work either because it's too close to the transformer. Got to use it at an angle. No, can't do that. Okay, how are we going to get this screw out? With difficulty. Man, they're really cutting costs on screws on this one. Missing screws in the boxes. Using one screw to fix a whole box and a transformer. Must have been the great screw famine of 1922. Screw famine, we've all been there. Alright, it's feeling a lot more mobile now. Alright, we've got shit hanging on for dear life. We've got a 12AT7 in that position. So that'll be the reverb drive. And a 12AX7 in the other position, which would be the reverb recovery. And we've got a unbranded reverb drive transformer. Got two Switchcraft RCA jacks for the tank, and no shielding of the valves. Again, I don't know if maybe the owner took them off. Put them aside so we don't break them. And again, we've got 2 screws instead of 4 on the back cover. No biggie, it's just like, what did you do with the other 2 screws, bro? I know these boxes come with a set of 4 screws, because all of this stuff is off the shelf enclosures. Nothing's been fabricated. Right, you think you're getting fabricated metalwork for $8,000? All right, we've got a jack off cap. Oh, and very high class. We've got a business card being used as an insulator under that tag board. Isn't that fascinating? At least they've got the values on the film caps inside these boxes. They're not super secret. They've got the world's crappiest SM silver mica caps that always go short or noisy, crackly. Yeah, she's jammed pretty tight in there. They've got suntan caps. They're the ones that J-Cars sell. Wow. Okay. Well, at least we know what we're dealing with here, if you know what I mean. So let's remove these cable clamps, and we'll get this whole monstrosity out of the box so we can have a look at replacing this transformer in order to learn a bit more about the condition of this circuit. So they've used a Kep's nut and a flat washer, which kind of defeats the purpose of the Kep's nut because it doesn't keep it tight, and now you can't really undo it. So and that screw's really bent too. I don't know when that would have happened because it came to me still together. The only way that could have bent is if it was the only screw left, because the other one wasn't bent, and the chassis had fallen on its back or something. I don't know. Super weird. Alright, so we've got the chassis out. I'll give the speaker a bit of a sweep. It tests about the right resistance that you'd expect, DC resistance, but we'll just make sure there's no weird buzzes or overtones or anything, because the last thing we'd want is after putting all this together, because it is a 15 watt speaker in a supposedly 20 watt amp, which is a curious choice as well. If it actually is putting out 20 watts clean, it'll be putting out much more than 20 watts when you push it, and that would make short life of that speaker, as pretty as it is. So here's a close look at the transformers. That one's got scratches all over the bell housing like it was assembled on a bench without any cover. Little plug there, I think that's a high voltage fan. Yeah, it's a 220 to 240 volt fan. That's just mounted on 2 little L brackets, which is sharing the mounting hardware with the transformer, so that's making the transformer sit at a bit of an angle as well because of the extra thickness of those brackets. We've got 2 Electro-Harmonic 6L6s and Sovtech 5AR4. There's no branding on either transformer, so it's probably an OEM kind of deal. But you can notice there, it's a pretty small stack there in the core. So I dare say this is your typical deluxe transformer. I've got no way of proving this, of course, but physically look at the size of the thing. Yeah, I can't see how you could get enough copper on there to be able to power everything they're trying to do. Now, about our only option is to put a Hammond with slightly higher spec on there, so 3 amp on the 6.3 volt and you can see it's a lot chunkier, a lot more iron there. So without modifying the chassis or hanging it off the back or something dramatic like that, pretty much our only options to go as higher current transformer as we can get on that form factor. You know, you got screws and stuff poking out that it needs to fit between. Without fully re-engineering this thing, this is about our only choice, unfortunately, 290 BEX. So we'll go over the data sheets and the current requirements of this amplifier. Alright, so trying to remove the transformer. 2 of the 4 screws are like seizing up. So I'm going to have to flip it over, and everything's made much more fun by these 2 little umbilical cords hanging off to their stupid little boxes too. You know, if it was easy, someone else would do it. Maybe they should next time. Now, I get a few comments that I'm really negative. I think you guys don't get my dry sense of humour. I'm a bit cynical, but it's all said tongue-in-cheek, eh? If you get upset and, oh, this guy's negative and he just always shits on things, hang out with me for a beer and you'll see I'm just having a joke, champions. Ease up. It's all good. I think for these ones, we might be able to get the tube socket down in there. As you can see, it's a bit cramped in there. We've got to work around the VVR stuff, which is essentially, I traced it out, it's pretty much just a London power scaling thing. Nothing new there. So those 2 bolts are under a whole bunch of other stuff, a fuse holder and stuff, but I might be able to squeeze one down in there and maybe use pliers to get to that one, because we're trying to disturb as little as possible, because I don't want this job to take, like, you know, multiple days like they all seem to be these days. Alright, 1 free transformer. It looks suspiciously like the tube amp doctor transformers, one of which I received for a Vox AC 30 Brian May edition, and the wires had already pulled out of the core during shipping. That was fun. Then I rang him and said, can I get a little replacement for this one, champions? I think you either didn't pack it properly because it had destroyed the entire box. You've got to pack transformers really tight in a cardboard box. Otherwise they destroy all the packing. They literally shred it like a blender and try to make their way from the inside of the box to the outer. So I said, if you send me another one, maybe you better get someone to pack it who has an IQ higher than, like, you know, the room temperature. Yeah, lots of licky shmoo. Shmoo there. Shmoo there. And it stinks. It smells like, I don't know, it smells like ashtray mixed with burning hair. It's a lovely smell. And it's got the eddy current suppression ring. That's that copper foil ring around it. It's also a fantastic band from Australia. I think they're from Melbourne. Eddy current suppression ring. You can't forget that band name. Check them out. They're great. You probably already heard of them because you're a champion, and that's why you're here.